Gatherings, celebrations, and special occasions, whether big or small, will always revolve around food and feeding other people. I think our love language as a people is expressed through food.
I think the reason that Nova Scotia and the Philippines make such a great match for an academic exchange, especially around culinary arts, we come together around our social and family connections, and a lot of those revolve around food. It really brings us closer together, and it overcomes all that distance between the two places.
It was an innovative, creative, and ingenious response to the current situation. We would have done the activities in person had the pandemic not happened, but I'm so proud to say that we found ways to still achieve our academic goals despite having to shift to a virtual type of implementation.
The idea for the virtual recipe exchange with NSCC and CSB was a way to overcome the challenges that we had when we knew we couldn't travel in person to start partnership exchanges, student and faculty exchanges, as we had planned.
We were able to field 5 students to exchange recipes and ideas with NSCC students.
There was always organized virtual meetings that we were all able to attend. It was kind of funny that we would always do good morning, good evening, and good night because we're all from those different time zones in the world.
The cultural exchange aspects of the projects is also remarkable. We learned more about Filipino and Canadian culture by working with each other and by working with ingredients and flavors that are unique to each culture.
We're going to take a look at some lobsters and just talk about the history around fishing in Mi'kmaq culture. Just going to prepare these in a traditional way using some traditional ingredients.
Respect that ingredient, make sure that the customer that comes in is really going to get a beautiful lobster roll.
This is our lobster rolls. We would like to thank the Canadian team for sending us this recipe, and then I think we have done a good job. I'm excited to try it for myself.
Well, the educational benefits, as stated by one of our students, was that she was able to learn how to use Canadian products, which are slightly different from Philippine seafood and beef products. Another student stated that she really enjoyed it because it was her chance to see Canada through the eyes of Canadians who actually live there and see and try their food when they actually made it in their homes using the best Canadian ingredients.
We decided that if we were to survive, we had to fight. The Philippine Culinary Cup had to be designed under the new normal. And true enough, that is when the Philippines-Canada Culinary Cup began, and the rest is history.
The driving force in producing the Philippine-Canada Culinary Cup was a chance to make an online virtual competition.
So it was really important to first build those recipes, cook them, taste them, write them up as professional as possible, and make them as easy to follow so that our counterparts in the Philippines could easily execute these dishes. Once we finished ours, the next goal was to receive recipes from the Philippines using those same Canadian ingredients. They had created their own standardized recipes that were, again, easy for us to follow. And the idea was that we would take the time to train and make sure that we understood the recipe and the philosophy behind those dishes.
When we were unable to call upon our students to participate due to mobility restrictions, we tapped our culinary arts faculty to participate.
And just when we were about to go ahead and proceed, given the many changes, going from Plan B to Plan C to Plan D to Plan E to Plan F, COVID's ugly head reared its head again.
All systems go 2 weeks prior to the Philippine-Canada Culinary Cup. Teams were in practice session at the Benilde campus. We had opened one kitchen and 2 teams were ready to go. I was in training with all of them. The 3rd day of training, I received a call from my husband that he was COVID positive, which meant that we had to shut down practice, clean the kitchens, and disinfect. Honestly, I wanted to give up, but they said no. They wanted to continue on and they wanted our alumni to be featured instead of our faculty.
Throughout all the health scares and several lockdown declarations of the Philippine government, the culinary arts team of Benilde persisted and pushed through and coordinated virtually just to make sure we were able to take part in the competition.
Of course, the Filipinos, the Canadians working together, I tell you, this will push through no matter what. The first virtual competition here in the Philippines.
Good morning, Pilipinas, and good evening, Canada. Choose your brew, but hopefully we can all join together and experience the very first all-virtual culinary competition in the Philippines today.
Good morning.
Morning, Joel.
Good
Morning, Joel. Good morning.
What exactly went wrong leading to today?
At every corner, there was an obstacle, but we got through it. We had people who were under investigation for COVID. It's a tribute to the culinary depth we have in the country. We had people who were able to step up at the very last minute and still do a very good job on the food.
As you can see, I'm all alone. My partner, Chef Christine Santos, cannot be here today because of the current situation.
Good luck, Joseph. Hope to see some nice plates soon. That looks like banana leaves or dahong and saging.
Okay, very Filipino.
Through this competition, I learned way more about the Philippine style of cooking, their ingredients, and as well as I made great connections with the people in the Philippines. Like I didn't have an option to go with my safe things that I know I can execute well. It was interesting to be able to put in a position like that, and I had to execute with ingredients that I wasn't familiar with.
And that's one thing why I wanted to have that tie-up with the Philippines and Canada. For us, for those people who are not fortunate enough to go to Canada, I'm able to tell them that this product is good. These mussels are very good. These blueberries, these wild blueberries are fantastic. I've tasted so many blueberries all over the world, but I tell you, this is one of the best blueberries I've ever tasted. I use them here. It's very difficult to bring it here. But now once we open this Philippine-Canada Cup, people get to see it, get to taste it, get to know what's it all about. Then it opens the avenue.
Wow, the recipes from my teammates from Canada.
Here's the recipe straight from the Philippines.
Is that how you pronounce it, Carlo? Poutine?
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 Poutine? Poutine?
Poutine.
Poutine. So just like Team Adobo, we have 4 kids here who are part of the team.
I hope those Yukon Gold potatoes are from Canada.
Actually, it's from the Philippines, but the seeds are from Canada.
I would say Nova Scotian's cuisine is so influenced by the geography of where Nova Scotia is. It's surrounded by water and sea, and everywhere you go in Nova Scotia, there's just so much seafood being sold. It's fresh and it's amazing.
It was new territory for everybody, but I think that all the teams involved and the folks that were managing it in the Philippines did a really great job of changing the scope and adjusting.
The most important component in the preparation is that we have faith. We have strong faith that somehow God will not let us down, that we will survive all the challenges put before us. I think that's the biggest weapon that we had.
I would say that our chefs and faculty and students had to overcome more than the usual hurdles and challenges facing them for international experiences. So this was a unique opportunity for our students to gain some intercultural learning, learn about another foods and cultures and another country, and actually work in partnership and in competition with colleges in Canada and in the Philippines.
We thrive on the energy that's generated when you're physically present during competitions like these. From the planning, to the practices, to the actual competition. Nothing beats being there, in person, rubbing elbows, standing shoulder to shoulder with your friends and competitors. I think that was the hardest part of implementing a virtual competition. But look how we've managed to still make it happen and still walk away with tremendous learnings.
When Chef Barry Mooney came up and asked me to take part in it, and I was excited and jumped on the opportunity, and then I ended up cooking with fellow classmate Lency, and we actually ended up winning it.
The winner of the first Philippine-Canada Culinary Cup.
I think this competition substantially made me a better chef, as well as it was great for my personal development.
It was a beginning that is not yet an ending. We will have more of that in the future. Thank you for this first experience.
The Culinary Cup is providing a fantastic platform for higher education institutions like Benilde and NSCC to exchange skills, expertise, knowledge, culture, and friendship. I think they're really making such a huge difference in the training and exposure that they give to culinary arts students in the Philippines and all over the world.
If I had the choice, I would love the Canadians to be here in the Philippines and be able to welcome them with open heart and be able to experience the Filipino way of welcoming people. And that's what's missing. And hoping that, soon it will open up and we'll be able to travel to Canada.
We can't wait to welcome our colleagues, students, chefs, faculty from College of Saint-Benilde and from the Philippines in general to Nova Scotia Community College, to Nova Scotia, to experience our food, to experience our culture, and to learn face-to-face and with each other. We're missing that connection with our colleagues and friends around the world, and we can't wait for them to come together with us. And that's where the magic happens. When we have international partnerships that can grow despite a global pandemic, we know the future is bright. We know that we can come together on tourism-related challenges, addressing food challenges. We know that we can do anything together.
It took a village. PCCC took a village.
Well organized. It was great. Okay, you're gonna have to get out.